Hello, G fans. Book number 2 review for me, and this is my first Godzilla comic book I've read since Godzilla Awakening, and I long sought this one out. Godzilla: The Half-Century War. Apparently, the man behind it mostly is James Stoke, and this is one of the great ones from IDW. They publish a lot of Godzilla comic books, and for that I'm very pleased. And Godzilla Half-Century War, yeah, I think basically it's a standalone piece. I mean, once you get all the issues, I believe. I mean, I have the whole thing. That's why I think, like, for me, comic books, I love comic books. However, I don't like the whole getting them issue by issue thing. I prefer getting, compendium and omnibus editions because that's just the way I am. I don't like sitting there, reading like 12 or 20 pages of material and then waiting for more. I prefer to get it all at once. But moving on from that, I have the basically the whole series right here, and it's I actually love this one a lot. Now, this one, basically, the story is, it covers basically an entire man's life, first encountering Godzilla and to his end, and that's why it's really great. Now, the basic story is that it starts off, I believe, in 1954, and we meet this character. I forget his name at the moment, but basically he's a Japanese soldier, and he encounters Godzilla. A battle ensues, and then from there, afterwards, all throughout history and all around the world, which is really great, this anti-monster forces assembled, and they do their best to combat these forces of nature. And the results, well, it's chaos, and as its title says, it's war, all-out war. Now, let's dissect this one a little bit. Now, for the monsters that appear in this one, the monsters that appear are Godzilla, Anguirus, Batra, Ebra, Gigan, Hedorah, King Ghidorah, Kumonga, all three, just the latter two versions of Mechagodzilla, Megalon, Mothra, Rodan, and Space Godzilla. So I guess right now I'll go into the designs of each monster. Godzilla, although it definitely looks like his own version, I would definitely say it looks a lot like the 2002-2003 suit, which is my favorite Godzilla Millennium design. So yeah, I love how Godzilla looks in this one. I absolutely love it. And as for the rest of the monsters, Anguirus, however, Anguirus also looks a lot like his Millennium counterpart, I'd say, like he was in Godzilla Final Wars. So I definitely liked Anguirus a whole lot in this one. And then we see the next monster who appears, well, basically it's a giant monster war. A lot of these monsters are in here very briefly. This part I'll get to that later on. Basically, Batra and Mothra look about as you'd expect. Batra pretty much looks the same as every design I've ever seen of him. Not too much changed. You can't really fuck with perfection. Mothra definitely looks like 2003, 2004 version, which is great. Ebra looks mostly like the original, and so does Hedorah and Kumonga. And as well as Megalon does not look too drastically different. Now, as for the latter monsters, Mechagodzilla looks pretty much, Heisei Mechagodzilla is here, he looks pretty much the same. Rodan definitely looks a lot more like Fire Rodan from the Heisei 90s era than the new version of Final Wars, which I can dig that because I like Fire Rodan a lot more. As for Space Godzilla, who makes an appearance, Space Godzilla looks pretty damn good. I loved Space Godzilla in this one. And as for, let's see who else. Oh, that also reminds me, Kirill looked absolutely stunning in this one. But I think the two favorite looking monsters in here, of course, for the final battle just had to be Gigan and King Ghidorah. Of course, this one is also using the classic 70s version of Gigan, which I definitely like. It made it look really good in here. And they're definitely using, I'd say, the 90s King Ghidorah from the Heisei era, which is about expected, and I also love it. Now, as for the story, I love the story a lot in this one because, first of all, because yeah, it covers so much kaiju history, I guess. From Vietnam War and from the 1950 film all the way to the modern era, and they incorporate so much of the movies in here. It's just a great tribute. They have the anti-megalosaurus force from the newer movies. They have the Dimension Tide weapon from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. And they actually bring out over the history, because I love this because it's standalone. It can actually make sense that an earlier first prototype would be the old Mechagodzilla, and then the newer version would finally be the Kiryu edition. And it's great. I love the leading character, Oda. He's a great lead. Now, not to criticize Ford in the new one, but I thought it'd be interesting to see it. I want to see a movie like this, where the monsters have been around for a while. So, as they say in this book, and it's exemplified through the battles, humankind really is helpless, and they really take a beating in this one. And the characters all look great. I don't know about other Godzilla comic books, and this one doesn't go too much into the character's backstory or anything like that. However, they're very interesting characters. They're both funny and dynamic, and the dynamic between the human characters and Godzilla is pretty damn great. As for the story, it basically revolves around a villain who was able to basically, I guess, not control, I'd say, but I say summon the monsters to specific locations by a device that was supposed to be used to do the opposite, draw them away. And from there, it's a big epic battle to stop him. And the chaos he unleashes brings other monsters from not only around the world but also from space, which is Gigan and King Ghidorah come in. So I'd say this is one of those ones that I really loved it, and I wish it was actually longer. I actually wish this expanded into like several issues, that we could see the individual battles, because it jumps in between time zones and decades apart each scene. So it leaves you wondering whatever happened to monsters like Ebra, Kumanga, Hedorah, Batra, Rodan. Did they kill them, Mechagodzilla, or what happened to them? We don't know for sure. All I know is by the final set piece, it's down to Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and Gigan, and that's the main thing that's going to happen. Oh, the Godzilla and Kiryu team up was just pure epic. I absolutely loved that action piece they had in there. It was great. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Godzilla Half Century War. It's one of my favorite reads I've read in a while as far as comic books go. And yeah, definitely show this one some love. Josh out.